Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming. We are still not live via YouTube streaming. We are also coming live via Skype live streaming. Whispers of the Unknown. This was the name of the program when I started the radio broadcast in the country of my residence, Trinidad. This was the name spontaneously chosen, Whispers of the Unknown. One day, the Sufi mystic Bayezid Bistami was sitting in the mosque in his prayers. The room where he was sitting was closed from all the sides. Only one window was open. And he observed that from the window a bird entered. The bird entered without any restrictions, without any problem into the room, and it started fluttering its wings to come out of the window. It went in all directions, strike the walls from all sides, trying its best to come out of the room through the walls. It tried everything except the window that it came in. Bayezid got very concerned about it. It tried to help the bird, but the bird felt that the person Bayezid is trying to entangle it even more inside the room. Instead of helping me, it is trying to get me entangled more and more. Bayezid did not know what to do. The bird was using, it's not that the bird did not have the wisdom. It had the wisdom. It thought that the window that I used to come in, and that has entangled me into this room, this cage. How could that be of any help to get me out of the room? I came through this window. This was the wisdom of the bird. Something that brought me into the world, into this present situation of turmoil, or whatsoever you may call. Each turmoil, each disturbance is a closed room, a closed area, out of which we find it difficult to come out. Such was the thinking of the bird as well. It was its wisdom. This window has brought me into the room. How can it be of any help to take me out of this window? It is impossible. It does not fit in the logic of the bird. Bayezid tried to help, but it could not. The more Bayezid tried to help the bird, the more it started flapping its wings and trying to move from one place to another without resting even for a while. Went in this corner, hit itself with this side of the wall, went in wherever it went, it hit itself to the wall. Such as Bayezid realized that day, that such is the situation of each one of us. We have entered into life and we have forgotten how we entered into life. And forgetting that door, we try to come out of this prison, this cage as you call, this closed environment, from all sides. But we have forgotten that door completely that has brought us into. What is the door that brings you into life? The door that has brought you into life is love, prem. Is the door that brings you into life. It brings you into your love for this one, love for that, whatsoever it is. Be it your love for your spouse, be it love for your profession, be it love for money, be it for something else. But it is the love that has brought you into that cage, that a particular situation. So it is the same thing that can take you out. When you are in love with the spouse, your eyes are open, you are seeing the spouse. The moment you close your eyes, that person is not visible to you anymore. You are not in touch with that part which is visible to you with eyes open. Instead, you are connected to that which you can feel with your eyes closed. The body is no more. You are sitting in front of the sheikh. As long as your eyes are open, you are seeing the form, a physical form. But the moment the energy begins to flow from the sheikh, slowly and slowly you go in a state of drowsiness, a state of intoxication, because of that mystical wine that it is being produced by him, that is overflowing from his being, and your eyes begin to close. The physical form is no more visible to you. Instead, you are connected to something which is subtle, not the thought, not the intellect, not the words of the master, but the energy field of the master. Each thought is an energy. Everything in the subtlest form is energy. And when this energy field takes a form, it becomes thought, it becomes anything else. So you are connected to the energy field of the master, whom you were seeing with your eyes open, with whose form you were connected with your eyes open. The moment eyes are closed, you are not seeing his form. Instead, you are seeing the formless. And that process of seeing the form, the formless in the form, is the changing the direction of love. You were in love with your sheikh, with your master, with your spouse. You are not seeing the physical form in your spouse, in the sheikh. Instead, you are seeing the formless that is hidden behind the form. The process of seeing the formless in form is devotion. Seeing the formless into the form is devotion, is meditation, is dhyan, is marakwa, This is the process of feeling. You are not seeing that. Seeing becomes feeling. You are feeling the energy field of the Master. His formless you are connected with. The form has now transformed itself into the formless. With open eyes you are seeing the form. Now the eyes are closed. You are not seeing the form anymore. Your spouse, the physical presence is no more, neither the form, and you enter into the formless, and that which is formless is Shivam, is eternal, never born, never dies. And the moment you are connected to that which is never born, never dies, the formless, the Shivam, Chidananda Rupa, the eternal, unborn, unmanifest form, the moment you are connected to that, you have found the weight, your direction is changed. Through your attraction, through your moh, through the threads of moh, attraction, you entered into the cage which you call life. Now when you are connected to the formless of the form, then your direction is changed. The same door, love, that has brought you into this turmoil, into this quagmire, into this world of finiteness, takes you into the world of the infinite, the formless, the beyond, that which is the very cause of the existence. And this is the door. That day Bhaijit realized that the bird came into the room through the window, and it felt that how can I come out of this window when it has brought me and put me into trouble? Why should I use that door? You got into problem with your love for your spouse. Change the direction of that love. Start seeing the formless in your spouse, and the moment you start seeing the formless in the form, you have found your direction is changed. Now you can exit the same door through which you have entered into life. There is only one door, and that door is love. You can call it love or meditation. Your love for money, your love for his spouse, the form, has brought you into the problems. It is the moment your direction is changed, you have found that the love is the door to come out of that. And the moment you have changed the direction, love becomes devotion. It becomes dhyan. And that is the way to come out of that situation. This is the whispers of the unknown. There is only one way to find truth, and that is through bliss. A person who has found that this door or this window has brought me into trouble, how can it get me out of the trouble, is a miserable person and cannot find truth. He can only theorize about it. He can only think about truth. He may create great systems of philosophers, but all those are just sand castles or palaces made out of the playing card. Just a small breeze and the whole palace collapses. All great systems of philosophy have no foundation because the person who created them had no experience of truth. Just like that bird that found itself into the room, entered through the open window, and considered that how can this window take me out when it has brought me into this cage? It is because of this window that was open, I got attracted, I entered into the room. How can it help me to come out? Because the person who created them had no experience of truth. Be it Aristotle, be it Kant, be it Hegel, be it Marx, be it Nietzsche, be it Freud, be it Bertrand Russell, are all the people who have created beautiful theories. Beautiful theories, but they are all words. They are not sustained by any experience. Bhaijeet saw the bird flapping its wings in despair, trying to come out of that room, but found itself impossible to come out, because it had the wisdom, it had the understanding of its own, that through this window I came in, and through this window I got into trouble. How can this window help me to come out of my trouble? And in that, this is the situation of each one of us. We have entered into life through the door of love, and we forgot that love's direction can be changed. As long as you are seeing the form, the finite, that which is bound by time and space, you are in trouble. A master is beyond time and space, but he is both. He is form and formless both. You can connect to him, you can talk to him, you can touch him, yet still you are not touching him, because he is the formless in form. And the moment you are connected to the formless of the master, you have found a door to come out. You have realized that the same door that has brought you into the trouble, into this prison that you call life, can take you out of that. You have found a door. And this is the moment the direction is changed. Love is no more love, it is bhakti, it is devotion, it is dhyan. It is the door to enter the realm of the formless, the realm of the beyond the mind. Then form has no problem for you. Form becomes the door to the formless. That is the reason Sufis never asked you to abandon life. They never ask you to abandon love. They never ask you to do anything. You have been thinking you have accumulated money, and you thought that this money is yours. No, it is erroneous, fundamentally erroneous. You are simply the custodian. Your director, the God, realized that giving the money in your hand, you will be able to distribute it for all those people who belong to the realm of the unknown, the God, and you will distribute them according to their share. But you think that money belongs to you. Money does not belong to anyone. As long as you think that this is my money, you are in the cage. The moment you realize that you are simply the custodian of money or the resources, God have found you. The existence has found you worthy. It gave you that opportunity. Distribute it according to the directions of the divine. You will never be short of that. Your resources will never deplete. And that is the wisdom. There have always existed two rivers of consciousness. One is that of philosophers. Aristotle in the West is the father of that, is the originator. The other is the way of the mystics. That is a totally different kind of river. It has nothing to do with philosophizing it. It is rooted in the existential experience. That is the river that we call mystics. That is a totally different kind of river. It has nothing to do with philosophizing. It is rooted in existential experience, and it has almost always happened that whenever there was a great mystic, his followers always became divided between these currents. The real ones are those who have understood the master is connected to his nisbat, to his energy field. Sufis use Shariat, the outer body of the discipline, Shariat, and Hakikat, which is truth. You can connect to the Hakikat, the Hak, through Nisbat alone. The real ones are those who have understood the Master and really loved him, became mystics. And those who have understood only the words of the Master became very knowledgeable and ultimately became philosophers. Socrates was a mystic. Plato was his disciple, but he lost track of mysticism and in the process became a philosopher. Aristotle was Plato's disciple. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. When Buddha died, 36 systems of philosophy were born amongst his disciples. 36, imagine. Almost all kinds of philosophies are exhausted by those 36 systems. In fact, there cannot be more than 36 systems. Indeed, only 36 systems. That is all possible combinations the whole world of philosophies explored. 36 systems of Buddhism. And the real one was Mahakashyap, one of Buddha's most authentic disciples, remained silent. He did not say anything. He started a totally different tradition. This was the tradition of the mystics. This was the tradition of Buddha, the tradition of the masters. He transmitted his experience not through words, not through scriptures, but through a totally different kind of communion. It was the communion of the master and the disciple. When the master and disciple are in unison out of love, it is through Mahakashyap that the tradition of Zen was born. He was the first, and many great mystics followed, but it was a totally different world. There was no argument about God or truth or anything else. Everything accepted as it is. No argument at all. Mere argumentation is not the way, but meditation, not mind. Not anything arising out of the mind, but meditation. These people became more and more silent. As you go deeper into meditation, silence descends. As you go into the deeper realms of love, through love you enter into the deeper pressings of your qalb, of your heart. More and more silence surrounds you. Everything becomes tranquil, calm, and you become more and more silent. As you become silent, your inner source of blissfulness starts exploring. As you become more and more silent within, your inner source of blissfulness starts exploding. It is the word and theories and the philosophies which function as rocks and never allow you the spring of bliss to flow. It is the words and theories and the philosophies which function like rocks and never allow your spring of bliss to overflow. My way is the way of a mystic, not of a philosopher. I have experienced bliss, not in theories. Theories about bliss. I want you to taste the bliss that life is, the mystical wine that overflows, not just think about it. It is pointless to go on thinking about food. Thoughts of food will not nourish you. It is stupid to go on thinking about water. When river is flowing, go and drink it. How long this water will flow, nobody knows. You can quench your thirst and you can swim in the river and you can become the river and go to the sea. You can quench your thirst in the river. You can swim through the river. There are foolish who remain standing or they sitting on the bank and thinking about the river, thinking about the water, theorizing about water, finding what water consists of and continue to die of thirst. Continue to die of thirst. So never be a thinker or a philosopher, be a mystic. It is the part of realization. It is indeed the way of Taoshobuddha. It is the way of the masters. You are eternal. You have been here and you will always be there, of course, in different forms and ultimately in a state of formlessness. But you cannot be destroyed. You are indestructible, eternal, formless, unborn, unmanifest. That takes all fear from you, and the disappearance of the fear is the appearance of freedom. The moment fear disappears, you enter the realm that freedom is. The disappearance of fear is the appearance of love. Disappearance of fear is the appearance of love, is the birth of love. Now you can share, you can give as much as you want because you have now reached the inexhaustible force of living waters. You have found the inexhaustible source of living waters. Many who are thirsty will be coming to you. They will find you because it is only the thirsty that finds the way to the water. There is no need for you to call them. Their very thirst will bring you in contact with them. They will come closer to you because as they come closer, they will find their thirst disappears and a great contentment arising in them, the same as you are, they are becoming. Meditation makes you whole, makes you holy, takes you the inexhaustible source of all those who are hungry, thirsty, seeking, searching, and groping in dark. You become light, and many can share your light, and you can see this happening. One candle which is lighted can help many candles to be lighted. That does not diminish its own light. One enlightened being can share his enlightenment and many can become lighted, but his enlightenment is not diminished to any extent. On the contrary, its flame increases, its energy field goes on increasing. The more he shares, the more he is, the more surfaces. A moment comes when he gives himself totally. A moment comes when he gives himself totally, and that is the moment when he becomes a master. That he becomes a master. Then those who are ready to take, who are an opening available can take as much as they want to their heart's content. The Master is only a light. He is not a teacher, but something transpires between him and you, him and the disciple. And the moment disciple also becomes lighted, there is no difference between Master and the disciple. And the taste is the greatest, and that is the greatest joy for the Master when all his disciples are also masters. That is the moment of greatest joy. That has been my whole idea in creating meditation around the world. These places, wherever you are, is a commune whose very soul is meditation and mindfulness, are not ordinary organized religions. The communion between you and me is not the communion of believers. These meditation sessions every week are alchemical labs for transformation and for creating more and more masters. With less than a master, a Buddha is never satisfied. Meditation is the way to the mastery of your own being. No God is needed. No holy book is needed. Nobody is needed to become a Christian or a Jew or a Hindu or a Muslim. You are, and that alone is enough. That alone is needed to discover your center. And meditation is the simplest way, or love is the simplest way to discover your center. It will make you whole, healthy spiritually, and it will make you so rich that no one can destroy the spiritual, your wisdom, your wealth. And with that you can destroy all the spiritual poverty of the world, and that is the real poverty to remove. And that is the only way to enter, to connect to a master. This is Whispers of the Unknown. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.